Hello and welcome to how I play my level 125 warrior. Today we're going to talk about all my abilities. We're going to talk about my multi-bind I got going on right here. We're going to talk about all my cooldowns. We're going to talk about everything. This is the second time I made this because I just went like halfway through and recording wasn't going. So I think I got a little bit of a grip on it. So we're going to talk about my hotbars, gear, everything. We're just going to be a long video. So bear with me here. So hide corpse NPC. This is my first button I have on my hotbar. This hides corpses and forages. My second ability is forage and then just gets rid of it. You got to forage. I would say if you want to do high-end crafting to make this like food here, there's a little bit of forage materials required, I believe, and then the drink that I haven't made fully yet definitely requires foraging materials. So definitely something to consider there. Next up, I have my assist button. Now, it's first line is attack on. Second line is usually blink because I'm tanking. But if I'm not tanking, I put in X target 19 here, so that it'll go after my X target 19, which is where I put my main assist target in. So if I like to click over here, you see it becomes that combat dummy, right? But since I tank, I don't put anything there because I don't want to assist anybody. I want to be the assist. So now that's my two assist buttons, right? Those are the exact same thing on 4 and 5. Now, if we go over here to my keys, you'll see on hotbar 6 and whatever hotbar that is, everything is bound to 4 and 5. So if I push 4, any of the abilities on this bar right here get pushed, and anything on this bar get pushed right here. That's just how it works. That's how the game client lets you do it. And it makes building rotations fairly basic. So it makes it really easy to get things going and activating a lot of abilities really quick. Now, the first ability I have is the basic level 1 taunt. Now, you're like, well, I've heard a lot of people tell me you don't taunt when there's nothing going on. Now, taunt is not the same as your little baby taunt that it was back in the day. It actually gets affected by different disciplines and stuff like that. So it is an on cooldown ability in my opinion now. Let me see if I can find those abilities for those. Let's see here. I know this one right here, biting tongue discipline, which is another thing we do. Every time we taunt with biting tongue discipline going, we get 4,600 damage on the target and an extra 59 hatred. But there is Phalanx of Fury, which is right here. So every time, it's every time we get hit. There's another one. Every time we taunt. Hasten taunt lowers it down to 3 seconds. Can't find it at the moment. I have all the AAs, but I can't remember all the names. Let's see here. Hatred, area taunt. One of these has some kind of bonus to taunt. Doesn't really matter. I do it on cooldown. This truly is all I do. I do it on cooldown. Every 3 seconds I can taunt, which triggers all these other effects at the same time. Next up we have Spiraling Blade, which is a AoE attack. Uses a one-hand slash as the base damage of 243, and it hits 30 nearby targets and causing 32,000 hatred on all of them. It's like AoE taunt, but better, because it does a significant amount of damage. And if you're fighting lower level mobs, you can pretty much kill a whole pack of mobs in like one hit with it. Like, it's insane. Because it, like, here, I'll go over here to this guy. Like, these are, what, 193, 90, 65, 110. There's a 110 dummy. And then 105. I don't know where that one came from. We gotta go find more of those. But if we come over here and we hit Spiraling Blades on, like, say, this guy right here, and then we go to smashing, right? Is it gonna be smashing? No. Yeah, I think we hit it. So we hit anywhere from, let's say, 143 all the way up to 145,000 in a single hit. So not too bad on all of them, right? So if you're fighting lower level mobs, it's gonna just destroy them. Next up, we have Knee Strike. Knee Strike is a kick-based ability, so this will activate a extra kick, which I believe can trigger the stunning kick line here. The stunning kick. So this will 128 or lower, stun them for 1 second, right? So this will lower their avoidance by 30% for 18 seconds. So this benefits everybody in the group. It also snares for 18 seconds, but that's least important. Then we have Infuriate. So this will incite 26,000 hatred, and it will also put an Infuriate Recourse, which will absorb 50% of an incoming melee hit that absorbs after, or that it fades after two hits, right? So if I get hit twice, and it'll do 57,000 damage in those 2 absorbs. So if I get hit for, let's say 50,000, right? So that's going to take it down to 25,000 for 1 hit. And so that's going to use half that rune, right? And if I get hit again for 50,000, it's going to take another half of that off and almost absorb that whole entire bottle. Now you get into like the 60,000 hits and the 70,000 hits, and you're kind of, getting to the cap of where this works out right now. The highest I can remember getting hit for is 68,000, completing all of the content up into this point. Now there's some mobs like Zelandikar that will just hit you for like a random 124,000 or something like that here and there, but it's I don't know why they do that, but for the most part you're safe with assuming you're going to get hit for less than 68,000. Usually where it's at, and I think that's going to go up to about 69 to 74,000. So 7,000 extra there. All right, then we have Battle Leap. Now a lot of people don't do Battle Leap on cooldown. I love doing Battle Leap on cooldown just because of this, right? I'm on the other side of this room, and boom, just out of range. There we go. Boom, I'm back in combat, right? So if I get knocked back from some of the abilities and some of these dragons that have in the Outer Brood, right? They have point blank AoE knockbacks where they just pop everybody backwards, or there's tank busters that just knock the tank, far back as they can. Now you can tank them up against the wall, but I think that is the weakest way to do it. I like to tank things in the middle of the room, just going at it. And with that, I can Battle Leap back in. Oh, sometimes I get summoned back in. And if I get summoned while I'm doing it, it will instantly put me right in melee range. It's pretty nice. Definitely pretty good there. But, Battle Leap also does passively 45,000 or 45% extra damage, right? All my hits, 45% extra damage. The leap itself does 95,000. You see spell damage right here. Battle Leap did 95,000 damage, right? And it has a chance to stun. We don't stun outside of that, right? Like, we don't have a lot of stuns. We can kick, stun, we can bash. I do kick on the warrior as my auto skill because of stunning kick. I didn't see anything for bash. Unless I'm using my shield, and I probably want to swap it around. I don't even know where I put my shield. It's probably my equipment bag, but definitely I think it's worth it. I can't. It's giving up 95,000. It's worth doing it on cooldown, in my opinion. Shield Split is our synergy ability. Now, when we do our synergy, so every time we Shield Split alone is a two-handed slash attack that does 1770 base damage, and then puts Bracing Stance on us, which will absorb the next 2 hits for 40% of the next 2 hits, up to 69,000 on each of those hits, I would assume. So 40% of that up to a maximum of 69,000. So pretty much any hit I'm going to get hit for is going to get absorbed up to 40% of that every time I do that. And that's a 15-second reuse. It also triggers my synergy, which then throws a 42,000 point, I would say, rune on the group, which absorbs up to six hits. So that's 6 seconds of 6 hits of free damage, right? So that's pretty nice right there. It's just, it works that way. Now, if we hit if we do Shield Split right there, I don't know, King Hammer, that's for my Bard. My Bard's working on its skill right now. But you can see here, I hit for 1.3 million with that hit. So definitely, definitely worth doing. Doing that on cooldown for that extra damage. So then we have Emperor's Command, which is a group buff. This is a nice little spell. It reduces the cast time of spells by 40%, up to the 50% cap, right? It also increases my chance and the group's chance to increase the chance to trigger procs, right? Procs on your weapons, buffs, whatever they are. All these things over here, chance to trigger these go up by 11%. Increases my maximum hit points by 25,000. Increases the attack speed by 40%, which doesn't really matter because I'm grouped with a shaman, and the shaman's wolf form gives everybody that. We have it on right now. Gives everybody through this. It gives everybody 60 or 75% haste. So it's unnecessary, but you know, just in case you do need it, you get it. It gives you an extra 50 points of armor class, and then 700 points of mana regeneration, and 500 points of endurance regeneration. This is a 3-minute reuse with a, what's the duration on this thing here? Let's click it and see. Oh, there it goes. A 1-minute duration. So a 1-minute duration, 3-minute reuse, almost permanent uptime. Almost, right? Like, oh yeah, we had over, yeah, it's 1 minute and 5 seconds. So a minute plus a tick. So definitely something very nice to do there. I think it's worth doing on cooldown. Your opinion may vary. Next up, we have Warshield's Heroic Blade. Now, this is a two-handed slash, so it does 3 two-handed slash attacks. So 3,200, 3,500, 4,100 damage, and then it gives us Heroic Rage, which increases our melee speed by 72% and our chance to deal critical damage by 45%. And increases our critical melee damage by 170%. Now, this is a 15-minute reuse, but I just use it on cooldown because, one, when I save cooldowns, these are all for defensive. Everything I save is defensive. I don't save anything offensive. So just how I play, but it works out pretty well for me. So this just increases my damage on trash mobs or whatever, you know, I'm fighting. If it's up, it's up. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm still doing the top DPS in my group unless my monk gets very lucky. So it doesn't matter. Let's see here. Then we have Roar of Challenge. Now this is an AoE taunt on the timer 14, so it'll increase the decrease the accuracy of 3 mobs near us and increase their hatred for me. So it's an AoE taunt. I do it on cooldown, and we'll talk about why I have a lot of these threat things in my multi-bind versus having them outside when we get to the last 2 abilities, because they just change everything for me. Then we have Biting Tongue Discipline here. This modifies our taunt ability to do 46,000 damage on cooldown. And 59 hatred. So now our taunt is become a damage ability, hence it is in our multi-bind as the first thing. 1, it's doing that damage immediately, right? 2, it is doing extra hatred, and then that stacks with the other ability that I can't find at the moment somewhere in here that does that, right? So that one gives us that. God, I wish I can remember the name of it. Sneering. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So right here, this passively increases the aggro 90% chance on our taunt by 25,000. Right. So it's just generating massive amounts of hatred just every 3 seconds. So it's hard to lose aggro. Next up, we have Gut Punch, which is another hatred ability, right? But it also reduces the accuracy and armor class of the target by 50% and 48 for 6 seconds. Now, some of these debuffs you could consider ADPS, because they will increase the damage of everybody else in the group along with you, because you're now I can hit the mob. Now it has less armor. Everybody else can hit the mob. So they're very nice. Now, Disarm is another ability. Now, check out this. If we go here into my main chat, I'm too far away. If I go right here, I'm in the right spot, but it failed. Now I use this as a kind of a gauge of where to be and positioning myself, because some of these dragons we fight in the Outer Brood, they have huge models and little hitboxes, right? And if I'm playing, you know, 4 or 5 characters, right, it can be kind of annoying to like try to like tab over and immediately need to know where I'm at, right? So if I have something that tells me if I'm too far away for that to do something, that's perfect. So I use it as that. It's just like a ability that gives me like a little bit of information down here to make sure I'm positioned correctly. Next I have Call for Challenge, which is a snare. It's a slight taunt. Like early on in the game, when we first get this around like level 50 or 70 or something like that, it's a nice little snare. But in the modern game, mobs don't really run. We have like Finishing Blow and all kinds of other things that just pretty much kill mobs as soon as they get low life, or they don't run. So it doesn't really do that, but it does, you know, put that crippling snare on there, which does a little bit of hatred, I think. Then we have Distressing Shout, which is another single target shout, which lowers the ability to dodge on the target, but gives me 2700 hatred. And stuff like that. So it's another single target taunt that I just put into my multi-bind for the reason we're going to talk about after Aurea Bane here. Aurea Bane. So this removes the Curse of Subjugation. This is an Outer Brood debuff that you get whenever you fight the Scale Rot dragons. They debuff you, and you have to have this, which is gotten from doing either one mercenary in the expansion or doing all of the hunters. I completed the hunters. So I have the fully unlocked version, which gives me a 6% extra damage along with 10% more healing and spell damage, and pet crits if I had a pet. Now, this is the ability that I was kind of talking about here. So Paradoxical Expanse is a level 122 spell, timer 21. There's not much on timer 21. We didn't get timer 21 until 102. So what this does is every time I get healed with a single target heal, I get a taunt on everything in my range, right? So it lasts for 40 seconds. So you can see there. So if we click it here, it lasts for 40 charges or 4 minutes. It's a 3-minute reuse. So it's like a permanently ability. But you can see here, it causes this Expansive Discord 5 Beza, right? So I get an extra 5200 hatred on all targets around me. So if there's something I didn't taunt, this just getting healed will get it on me, right? It works on heals between 116 and 130 that heal for at least 8000 HP that lands on me, right? So all the spells that my shaman cast, all the spells that most classes can heal with will trigger this. And it's 40 charges. It is fantastic. I think even some of the remote healing stuff might work with it, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it requires mana to cut on those. So it's just absolutely fantastic ability. It changed the way I play once I figured this out. Now, the next one here, Wade into Conflict. This one is kind of the same thing, except every time I get hit, I taunt. So it's kind of the same as Phalanx over here. Where did that one go? Right here, Phalanx of Fury. So when I'm struck, I increase the hatred by the person who hit me, right? Now this one, when I'm struck, it taunts the person around me plus the ones around it. So it's like there's some synergy here. Every time I get hit, I'm taunting. Every time I get healed, I'm taunting. I'm taunting up and down. I haven't needed a single target aggro to do anything since I figured this out. Literally I could do it from 102. I think is when we get the first version of it. From 102 on, you could literally coast on that. I have one. Blast of Anger is the only single target taunt I do not have in my multi-bind, and I probably should put in my multi-bind because I don't use it as much as I would like to, because I don't need it. The only time I use it is if something is attacking one of my characters and I have not gotten a chance to aggro it yet. So if I'm fighting this guy over here and that one over there is fighting one of my guys or someone in the group, I just target him, Blast of Anger, it's on me, and then the next heal will pick it up. So and get that one taunted on me even more. So it works. But that's my multi-bind. That's every time I'm pushing, so if I go over here, right, and I just hit 4, right, so you notice every single ability activated at the exact same time. It's just like an instant burst of just loveliness, right? And Ariat Bane won't go because I don't have cursive subjugation on it, but you can see there, it just goes and goes and goes. Just doing that, I probably am doing a million DPS. I don't have my parser on. We'll do a parse video. If you watch any of my live streams with this character, you'll see he's doing a million DPS just showing up. It's definitely fun. But that is the active, like I gotta, like, I'm just, you know, everyday carry kind of stuff. This is the exact things I just push on a cooldown. Now we get into the more defensive, more, you know, protective kind of things that we need for our to exist, right? Number 1 is climatic stand. Now this is our current level defensive. If we look at timer 2, defensive at 55 is what we got, right? And throughout all the levels, it's been replaced with, from defensive lowers damage to climatic stand. Now this lowers the incoming damage by 45%, which is huge, right? You're getting hit for 100k, let's say, you're down to like 45k. Or no, it's like 55k, right? Yeah, 55k. So, you know, it takes a good, you know, bush out of that. Now, my physical attacks will also trigger this effect here, which will give me a 53,000 point rune to absorb more damage every time I'm hitting. I'm getting a chance to get a rune, right? You throw that in with all the things that increases our proc chance. You're seeing some goodness now. That is my number 1 ability right there. If I'm feel like I'm gonna just, like, say 3+ mobs, I hit stand and I don't die, right? Now, with that said, Flash of Anger, timer 11, it's the only timer 11, and this is probably my number 1 used discipline. Like, this one is number 1 used. It parries all incoming attacks. It doesn't say, it says 0 seconds, but you can't do it in 2-hand, but you can do it in dual wield stance, right? And you can do it in sword and shield. Let's see if we can get there it is, 7 seconds. So 7 seconds of pure, now it's 9 seconds. I don't know what to tell you there. It's 1 tick is the best I can tell. It's not 2 ticks. I don't think it's 2 ticks of parrying, but it is just fantastic. And that's in the time that this goes off, I can usually get slow off on my shaman. I can get anything else going, and I know I'm not going to die when I have this ability activated, right? And look how fast the reuse. It's a 4-minute reuse, and it says 4-minute reuse, but what is this? It's even less than 4-minute reuse. So it's fantastic. Now I only have rank 1. I looked up rank 2 and 3 on the thing. It's a House of Thule spell. I was going to go do the raid for House of Thule to try and pick up the rank 3. But the only difference is it changes the stamina cost by like 20. So it wasn't really worth the effort for me at that point in time. But this is my number 1 used ability right here. Now, other than that, I have a Reciprocal Shield, which is our current level progressive ability. Now, I have rank 4 of this. I don't know why it says shielding rank 1, but I have rank 4, I believe. If I can get this sorted correctly here. There we go. Reciprocal Shield 4. Yeah, so I have Reciprocal Shield 4, which gives us a lot of stuff, right? So I click this one if I feel like I'm in danger and I don't have stand up or something like that. So this is like a mini defensive. It absorbs 40% of incoming spell damage, 12,500 melee damage, or 12,500 or melee damage above 19,000. Absorbs 30% of incoming dot damage, increases your hatred actions inspired by 100%, increases your maximum hit points by 25%. The shield will fall off after absorbing almost 1,000,000 damage or 600 strikes. So it's a nice little defensive kind of ability there. And it kind of varies like how I do this, right? If stand is not up, I kind of just cycle through some of these things here. We have brace for impact, which is another defensive ability here. Let's see here. Activate gives you a chance to trigger impact guard on yourself. With 70 charges, absorbs 20% of incoming melee damage up to 190,000 for 12 hits. Nice little, takes a little of the edge off there. Resplendent Glory is actually pretty nice. Increases the effectiveness of incoming heals by 9 to 15%. So that, that spell that I'm getting healed for is going to get, a little bit more healing. Right, and that kind of plays into some of the passive abilities that Warrior has. Let's see here. Where is it at here? There's Divine Gift, which gives us a 55% extra chance to score a critical hit on healing. So if we have a healing proc or something like that, it's going to heal for more. And then we have, if you have a cleric in your group for, where's the other one here? It's like the promised healing line. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at. There's one that gives you bonus healing to that too, so it's pretty nice on that regard. Lionhearted, I have this one here just for fun. It doesn't really do much. It's a targeted ability, so it's kind of annoying to use, but it will stun. It'll stun them in place, fear them in place, kind of thing. Works on some mobs, doesn't work on most mobs though. Then we have Warrior's Resolve, which is another defensive ability. Generates 12,000 hatred in your target. Grants a rune that protects from incoming attacks that deal at least 45,000 damage, absorbing 80% of the damage that exceeds 45,000 damage for 4 minutes. All right, so this is a very unique spell because it only affects the damage over 45,000, right? So if I get hit for 46,000, 80% of that extra 1,000 gets absorbed up to the 1.2 million right there, right? So it kind of takes the edge off, right, of big hits, right? So if you're fighting some, like raid mobs, bosses, names, these are the mobs that are going to be hitting that, and you're going to want to use this kind of spell on those to kind of take the edge off and lower that maximum hit to give you more time for the healer to heal you and stuff like that. So it just depends. Next up, we have End the Line, which your superior conditioning allows you to absorb 8,700 damage from incoming melee strikes for 3 minutes, and it'll last for what? Is that 4 million? Wow. All right, so it'll absorb 8,700 for up to 4 million damage and or 600 strikes. So definitely a pretty nice little ability there. It's a 3-minute duration, 5-minute reuse. I would probably put it in my multi-bind if I was feeling froggy about it, but I save it for bad situations. And then let's see, that's all of these. We have Armor of Ralosian Runes. Now, this is just like a rune effect. It takes up the discipline timer, so it's kind of, you gotta pick and choose, right? Which one you want to use. If stand's not up and vigorous defense isn't up, we'll talk about vigorous defense next. But if either of those two aren't up, I go for this one. But vigorous defense is pretty much always up, so it just depends on what I feel like clicking at the time. But it, every time I get hit, it gives me a chance to trigger this 44,000 point rune, right? Which reduces damage, right? So depending on what you're fighting, it might be actually pretty nice. Like if you got a lot of mobs hitting on you, it might be better than some of these other ones. So it just depends on the situation you're looking at. Vigorous defense. Now, this one is weird because it doesn't do much. It says it increases your armor class by 11,000, which is a lie, right? I have 11,000 AC. So if I was increasing my armor class by 11,000, I should have 22,000 AC, right? No, I get barely 1,000 AC out of this. Now, that number right there is most likely my armor mitigation cap, is my thought process there. I'm assuming what this spell does is it just increases my armor class to the maximum that I can get to, armor class wise. Like I'm in full uprising gear. I have everything except for the cloak is like fully ready to go, except the belt. But I'm in full gear, right? I'm fully geared for group content at 125. I don't have any raid gear or anything like that. Now I'm assuming raid gear would push me to another cap, but I don't think I would get as much out of vigorous defense. Now I could be wrong, but I would assume if it says it's going to give me 11,000 AC, I would probably get the same AC if I took some gear off, right? Well, I mean, it's still the same, but I'm losing that. So I don't think there is much benefit to this one. It's hard to notice. If you click any of these other abilities, you're like, damn, they did something. This one, it's like, oh. But see, the cool thing about this one is it lasts forever. It never wears off. It says 1 minute and 12 seconds, but it's not going to last 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's going to keep going and going for I don't know how long. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Like there's something to this ability that feels like I should be at a way higher AC when I click it, right? But since I'm only gaining 12.5, yeah, I'm only gaining 1,000 AC, so it doesn't feel like I'm getting a lot out of it, right? But 1,000 AC is a significant number, so that I'm not to minimize it, but it's not as noticeable, I would say, versus Climatic Stand, which is immediately takes 45% of the damage, just negates it, right? Like it's completely different model, right? And then finally we have Dragon Glyph, which is our consumable glyph. Now I just maxed AA yesterday or the day before, and so I've only used it like once or twice. But when activated, increases my maximum base health, my maximum mana and endurance by 20%. It costs like 60 or 70 AAs to use, so I'm not going to use it today. Your base mitigation and base avoidance by 50%, so these numbers go up by 50%. Protects against 35% of dot spells, 35% of direct damage spells that exceed 7,500 points of damage. Persist through death. So if I die and I get battle rezzed, I still have it. It must be repurchased between 115 and 129 when it becomes available, right? So this right here is the single strongest mitigation ability in the game. Everybody can get a glyph, right? They're just expensive. There's ultimate power if you want to do more damage. There's this one if you want to do defensive. I go for defensive personally because that's just that's how I play this character. I'm 100% defensive on everything I do. I don't try to do extra damage. I just do extra damage. That's just how it works out. So it works out for me, and I've been able to make some pretty big pulls. I think it was like 10 to 20 tier 1 mobs in Outer Brood. Pop this, and I don't even notice them. And then I pop my AoE strikes on my monk and just burn it all down. It's some of the funniest stuff in the world. Maybe we'll try that in the video after I do the monk video. But definitely worth having and worth getting once you have max AA. All right, so this is like my defensive bar, and then these are some extra AAs that warriors get that I save for specific cooldown reasonings. Like here is Warlord's Tenacity increases our health by 65,000. Warlord's Fury is probably the second most used ability. I didn't really talk about it before because I don't have it in my multi-bind, and I use it on demand. And what it does is increases the hatred of all our stuff significantly, 80% extra hatred, right, for 18 seconds. And if you do it right, if you hit Fury and then you hit Rampage, right, that turns Rampage, which is an AoE ability that hits all creatures within 40 foot, with five primary hits, right? So if we do this, like rampage. You can see there, that's 256,000, 354,000, 394,000. It hits them all, right? You can see all the spam right here, right? Everything in that range gets hit by it. Now, if you pop Warlord's Fury right before that, you're getting an AoE taunt out of it, right? It's massive. Now, that at the same time, Warlord's Fury increases the hatred everything else generates, right? So Spiraling Blades becomes a double AoE taunt because this 32,000 gets increased by 18%, and so on, right? It's massive. It's definitely something I click a lot. Then we have Warlord's Bravery, which increases or decreases our incoming melee damage by 15% or 105 hits. It's 20-minute reuse, so it's a shorter term, shorter duration or shorter reuse, right? It's got a while we can reuse it. Fumbling on my words here, but it's a nice little mini defensive there. And then we have Warlord's Resurgence, which heals me for 80,000, increases my health regeneration by 21 and my endurance regeneration by 66 for 3 minutes. So now I don't have this in my cooldown, my multi-burn, my multi-bind, and I don't use it unless I need it, right? Now, the reason I would use this is if somehow I die and I come back, I'm going to pop this immediately. I'm probably going to pop all of these, in all honesty. And I'm immediately able to get back in and, do stuff. Whatever other cooldowns I need to start tanking immediately, I'm going to do. But it immediately gets you back in the game because it's regenerating all that stuff really fast, right? And endurance regeneration, I'd be remiss in saying that without a monk in the group, I've had issues at times, but it's never severe. But I have a monk in my group like 90% of the time, so I don't have to deal with the endurance regeneration. But you do have a convalence here, which will increase our regeneration if we're under 33%, and then 7th Wind, which will increase our regeneration by 500 every 6 seconds for 2 minutes. So it's nice if you want to click that every 36 minutes. But we do have methods, but with a monk in the group, I don't even ever think about it. So let's see here. We got then Blast of Anger. It's just a big AoE, big single target, 90,000 points of hatred. Firework for wasting AAs when I get to the cap. Warlord's Grasp, which is kind of interesting. It's a single target taunt, but it pulls the mobs to you. It works on some mission mobs to position them better. Unconditional, I save this. I don't use it unless I need to, but it makes whatever I put this on attack me for 18 seconds. Now, it says it'll give me unconditional hatred, but the mage pet can still pull it off me, which is kind of weird, but I'm not 100% sure why. But I'd rather it be on me or a mage pet than on someone else. So it's kind of the thing there. Warcry. This gives everybody in the group immunity to fear and a 14% chance to resist silence and amnesia. Pretty nice ability. Now, nothing in the group content that I've fought does any of that. So I've never really needed it. But it's there on the bar just in case I do. I carry Cloudy Potions, which are Invis Potions, just in case I'm running off somewhere and I don't have my boxes with me to Invis me. Stuff like that. I do have a Amulet of Necropotence to turn myself into a skeleton and instantly trigger my Jan's Veil there. And then I have these two. I have these on my FV version of the warrior. But I have not got them on my Dronell version, this one, yet. So this is the Unified Phoenix Feather, which is like a mini Paragon. You want that cooldown. It comes out every anniversary. You want to get that. And then the Huntsman Ethereal Quiver. I haven't gone and farmed that yet, but it is a right-click summon arrows, which I use a bow, and I don't have arrows. So, but I've been pulling with Roar because nothing's that far away, so it's not too bad. Let's see here. We can talk about Fortitude. So Fortitude increases our chance to evade attacks, and Furious increases our chance to riposte every incoming attack. Now you can pick whichever one you want. They're on timer 3, so they don't really conflict with much. The Furious one is probably the better one when it comes to protecting yourself from dying. They both last 12 seconds, so I mean, 12 seconds of riposte versus 12 seconds of evade. I'm gonna probably go with riposte. It just depends, but I save it there because it's a nice timer. It does have a 40-minute reuse, which is reduced. I believe one of them gets reduced by our... one of them gets increased by duration by 1 tick on our breastplate. Fortitude, the evading one. So your choice there is, however you want to do that. But Furious is the one I usually click when I need it, because I'm usually at like 1% health when I click it, and I'd rather take 0 damage than a chance to not take damage, right? Like, I mean, it's not a hard choice. Leviathan Crash, or Levin Crash, I guess, is a very interesting discipline. So for the next 1 minute, incoming melee attacks against you have a chance to stun your attack or opponent for 2.5 seconds. This stun will work up to 118 and incite 3,000 hatred, right? Now, this is an interesting ability because it stuns when you get hit, right? So it's pretty interesting. I've popped it in the mission for Final Fugue. I've popped it there, but I don't think it actually does anything because it's 118, right? I pop it there. I feel like it does something, but it doesn't. At least I don't think it does. It might be just a placebo effect. I've popped it there, and I felt like it did something, but it just, he's 128, I think. So it's not going to work on him at all on that final boss, but it feels like it does. So I pop it anyway. Then we have Mage, Mark of the Mage Hunter here. Absorbs 25% of incoming damage, spell damage, that is. So in all honesty, nothing is really nuking me that I feel like is nuking me, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm getting any kind of spell damage from anything. It's all physical damage. So if I need it, I pop it, but it's very rare. And then we have hammackj, which increases our base melee damage by 15% and raises the minimum base damage of our melee hits by 45%, and reduces the effectiveness incoming heals by 10%. So this is an interesting ability, right? This kind of makes this a little bit more offensive, and I have it in my burn because that 10% healing, I'm over healing so much on my shaman, it doesn't matter at all. But the extra 10% or 15% minimum damage is very nice. So I'll pop it there. Then we have Brightfield's Onslaught discipline. This is the only offensive discipline I have on my my bar. So it adds 797 to our minimum melee attack for the mob that's facing us, right? So it doesn't work on mobs that aren't facing us. Increases our chance to melee attack and deal critical damage by 270%. Grants 160 non-cumulative increase to the damage of our critical melee attacks, and causes all of our critical melee attacks to be crippling blows for 30 seconds. A crippling blow is like a double crit. So if a crit, if a normal hit's 1,000, a crit is 2,000, a crippling blow is going to be 4,000, right? So it doubles it. And there's another discipline that affects that, Crippling Fury. Increases the chance that your critical attacks will land as crippling blows by 45%. So this is kind of like you see here, right? Like if I just do this, right? Let's do this 110 one. Let's just stand right here. Now you'll notice the orange are the critical, and the blue teal is the normal hits. And you can see that the majority of my hits are critical hits. Like a majority. I'm missing some on this guy. So, but the majority, like, look at that. It's like all crits, right? It's pretty crazy. Now, we can talk about why that affects. I have 2,400 plus 2,400 heroic dexterity, but I have plus 29 heroic agility, right? So I gear for heroic agility. So that's kind of, I get a little bit more defensive out of that, but can kind of see how that goes, but we're getting crippling blows constantly. It's just so much more damage. All right, so that is all of these, all of that. We talked about those. I do have targets. These aren't probably accurate anymore, but shield Viva, right? So we have a /shield command, which will absorb the damage of our target. So I have these for my shaman and for my bard. I can just shield them and take their damage. I have a bandolier for dual wield. I have a bandolier for shield. Commanding voice. This is another AA we get, or this one's a discipline actually. Increases. It's like kind of like one of our, not an aura, but it's kind of like our just a AoE buff we can give. Right. It's a 10-minute duration, so it's not very long, but it causes everybody to get a chance to dodge. Right. Then we have field bulwark right here, increases the group's armor class by 54. Right, let me take that off. So I'm at 11.7. Take that off. You notice I'm only getting like 500. So there's some kind of calculation that just doesn't make sense to me when it comes to armor class, right? So we have those two added, right? And then we pop vigorous defense, and we only gain like 200 that time, right? So 12.7. Yeah, well, no, actually, we gained a whole 1,000 out of that. So, gained 1,000 from this. So, vigorous defense, which is 11,000, only gives me 1,000, and field bulwark, which is 54, gave me 500. So, there's some kind of mathing that just doesn't math out with the way it's displayed. So, then I have this clicky for the violet conch of the Tempest, which is just another little AC buff, wherever that's at over here. Spine coat right here. Increases my armor class and gives a little damage shield, so it's nice. I have my familiar. You wanted to get the familiar from the current expansion you're in. At all times, increases your stats significantly. Gives me healing and damage spells 3 to 8%, increases maximum health, mana, and endurance by 1,700, 75-point damage shield, and mana and endurance regeneration by 17. And then Champion's Aura, which is our level 70 aura. You want to have that on at all times. Increases armor class, increases the chance to trigger weapon effects, right? You can see we're at 11.7, 55 now. If we pop this, we're at 12.7, 46. I think it like adds 1,000, kind of caps us out, right? I feel like the math on those descriptions should be updated. But that is all those abilities. Now I have some burn buttons, which is Spire of the Warlord, which is right here. Increases my combat prowess for 1 minute. Gives me a chance 100% to trigger this weakening effect, right? Lowers accuracy, strength. So it's like a little cripple there. And then we have increase our minimum damage, our avoidance by 8%, and our chance to parry by 15%, and our armor class by 31. So it makes us a little bit more durable. Projection of Fury right here. This is another AA. Someone's a little pet, right? This little pet will go out there and generate hatred and transfer that to us at some point in time. Rage of Ralos Zek. Rage of Ralos Zek. 100% chance that our weapon's magical effect will trigger. So I am using 2 warrior weapons. Now these are both Spike of Anger weapons. So you can see the 3,300 damage on both of these, as long and it does anger. So definitely very nice there. So you want to make sure you have those if you're a warrior. I do have use item blood drinkers in here, but I do not have the blood drinkers yet. This character has not done Gribbles, I don't think. And then our breastplate, which is the clicky. What is the clicky on the breastplate? Roaring Shield. Yeah, Roaring Shield. Absorb 40% of incoming melee damage that exceeds 12,500 per hit for 1.9 million damage, right? So 40% of incoming damage. So any hit over 12,000 absorbs 40% of that, I would say. Pretty nice. And that's burn 1. Burn 2 is that rage ability we already talked about. The Signet of Gunnar, which I don't have, which is a circle of life. Clicky, which is an aura that gives us 10% extra healing, I believe. I just don't have it on this character yet. And then Blade Guardian, which summons a Blade Guardian to protect us. If we drop below 40% health, we parry all incoming attacks for 36 seconds. So it's like a divine intervention, if you will, without the healing. It's pretty nice there. And then burn 3, which was going to be the glyph, but I decided not to put the glyph there because I was randomly hitting buttons, and with the way the multi-bind works, I'd rather just activate it on cooldown. So I just have Intensity of the Resolute here, which does not stack with glyph. Right here, it is a 55% extra crit damage and base damage by 50% on our attacks. So it's a nice little damage increase there if you use it. But all right, that is all of the abilities I use. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. It's a lot to take in and stuff like that. And I'm open to any questions anybody has. Gear wise, you're going to want to go for the uprising gear. We're at 125. At 130, you're going to switch to something else. You're going to use that group gear. But I gear for agility. Almost all my augs are agility augs from Lorian's Song. I don't even have very many augs from the Outer Brood version because I haven't done the missions. I've done all the missions, right? I've completed all the achievements in the Outer Brood except for the raid ones. I just can't do them by myself on cooldown. So in 5 weeks I did it all, so you can do it too. It wasn't that hard. It just takes a lot of effort, right? Just a lot of time. And the collections are important, very important in fact. Because of tribute. Now, I haven't talked about tribute up until this point because before max level, it doesn't really matter. But now at max level, you want to do tribute. You want to do collections. For doing collections in the Outer Brood, I got a trophy. You can have 6 trophies in your house, and you're going to want to do all 6 of the collections from the last 6 expansions. The trophy from the Outer Brood gives me 105 to all heroic stats, plus 225 healing and 225 spell damage. So if I activate this one, right? Boom. You see here my stats. I'm at 3,000 agility now. Now, you also want to look at tribute. Tribute is very important. I don't really talk about it too much up until this point, but it's very important. You're gonna have a whole bunch of items. Like this whole bag is tribute items. I'm capped, so I can't get rid of them. I went for Vengeful Aura, which gives me 60 attack. I went for Flurry 3, which gives me another chance to double attack and triple attack. I went with Accuracy, which gives me more accuracy. And then I went with Dance of the Hero, which gives me 26 heroic agility. And then I went with Bulwark of Honor, which gives me 85 AC. So I activate that. Now, I haven't set up the guild one yet, but I'll set that one up at some point. Oh yeah, I do have this one here on. I think it's just been, oh, it's got points. I don't know why I can't activate it. I have to go look at that. But you're going to want to get these, right? You're going to want to get a tribute. You're going to want to get all that filled out and stuff like that, because it is very important. You're going to want all the trophies, right? So Outer Brood is 105 to everything. Let's see what Lorian's Song is. Expect 95 to everything. So you're gonna want that because it's just gonna increase your stats more. Each one is like an AUG that's like permanently on that you don't have to use in a slot. Now, speaking of AUGs, while we're talking, you know, that's that. Let's talk about gear a little bit more, like we have been, right? So I said type 5s. I go for agility. Type 7s, you're going to want to look for, here, I think a better way to look at this would be to use the find window here, so I don't have to like open up every single one of these. So if we go here by augment slot. Let's say type 7. Let's do that, and then item type is going to be augmentation. There we go. All right. Now you can kind of see like my augs I got here. Now they're not the best. Like here we got Sentinel's Claw. Oh, that's in my bank. Actually, let's do equipped. There we go. So you can see here. Can't really see the stats for some reason, but yeah. So you're gonna want to look for these. Like here, this is the one in my cloak. 98 AC, 1400 hit points, very nice. I go for the agility and dexterity augs. There's also the vigorous gem right here. This is the tank aug, 95 AC. This is the crafted one from Lorian's Song. You see it's 49 heroic strength for 34 heroic stamina. So it just depends. You're going to want to go for the highest AC you can get your hands on. Like this one's 98 AC. Nice one there. Drops in Outer Brood. Let's see here. This one, 98 AC, 1500 hit points, heroic dexterity and agility. You're going to want all that you can get your hands on. And it's really about just figuring out which augs you can get and getting them. All right, like I can't give you a whole list, but if you want a list of what I got, this is what I got right here. Take a screenshot of that, and look them up. But it's not perfect. I'm still missing a lot of crafted ones from the Outer Brood because I'm still working on my spell research. But you can see I have these Acolyte Focus of Harbinger. That gives me slot type 18 and 19 augs that I'm missing. So once I get those, that'll increase my stats more. I'm missing my type 22 from doing the raids to get that luck aug there. I don't have any type 3s. I didn't buy any type 3 augs for any slot yet because they go away in the next expansion, and the next expansion is on December 2nd. So I'm like, why bother? So in the next expansion, they're different. So we'll see how that goes. And there's some anniversary augs that I don't have. Like, look at my mask. This mask doesn't even have a type 7. Why on earth does this mask not have a type 7? You can see, like I got work to do. I'm not all there yet. Still working on it. It's a work in progress. I got these, I got to get the crafted version of these weapon augs. They give you the effect, right? Once you complete the expansion and you unlock the thing, you can get these effects on your weapons. Like here's remote healing. I don't even know if this one like procs very much, but it's there. So you're going to want to get that. You're going to want all the, crafted gear you can get your hands on. You want to max out your heroic agility, max out your AC, and anything that gives you hit points. You're gonna want the ring from the missions. I got really lucky in the first mission I did. I think I got this, and Blurb was nice enough to give it to me. And you can see there, look at the stats: 21,000 hit points on this damn thing. Very nice. My necklace, the only thing I can't upgrade it anymore because I don't have this Slayer of Lorian's Song, so I gotta go back and finish Slayer of Lorian's Song to finish my necklace. And then I gotta go back and finish all the quests in Night of Shadows to upgrade my my cloak. So the cloak's probably at the point where I might not even use the cloak in the next expansion. I'm not 100% sure since I don't have the raid version of it. But definitely, it's a item by item basis on what you have, and you need to optimize it there as much as you possibly can. And I also don't have my tier from the Alarian, so I gotta go get that at some point. But I made this character 5 weeks ago, so I'm pushing and pushing as much as I can. So definitely the thing to do there. Now let me see. I talked about weapons. You're gonna want the warrior weapon. There is not 2 warrior weapons. There's one crafted and one tier 2. The tier 2 one drops in Gilded Spire off one of the named dragons. It's fairly common. You could probably go walk in there and get it at pretty much any time. And if somebody's killing the dragon, they'd probably just give it to you because no one wants it. All my boxes have one. So that I haven't tribute yet because they're max tribute. Let's see here. Trying to think if there's anything else. I talked about just about everything. I can't think of anything, honestly. And I do have a healer merc, but I don't really use it. It's just there for giving me cleric buffs. I'm lucky that I have a guild, and I highly recommend you have a guild to play the game because everybody buffs me constantly. We have like a lot of people just sitting in the front here and they just buff, and it's fantastic. So I get buffs and stuff like that. Now, I guess I should mention food real quick. So I started crafting. I made this character 5 weeks ago. I'm not that one. I'll close all that. Made it 5 weeks ago. I'm already maxed all the crafting skills, right? I put a lot of effort into it. We're 300, pretty much everything except research and I guess tailoring. But that hasn't slowed me down from making anything. And it's very important to have crafted food, I would say. Like this food here gives me 180 armor class, 2100 hit points, and some heroic stamina and in strength. Now, I don't know if I have it on me. No, it's the hand pie. There is an alternate version. Yeah, this one right here. You can make the agility one if you want. It's a little bit more tedious to make. I have it here on my monk, but it's a little more tedious to make, so I just went with this one because it was simple. But definitely, you're going to want that. You're also going to want the drink. I just haven't made it yet. I have this basic summon food that my mage can summon, so I just have that right now. But the drink is about the same. It's like 100 AC, 22,000 hit points, right? You're going to want that. I'm doing the Lorien Song version because it's with Overseer. It's easier to get those components. And I'm not getting enough Outer Brood components to craft that en masse, right? Like I spent a lot of time crafting. I still got like 5,000 fish to process. I just got bored of sitting AFK. But definitely want to get that to maximize your characters, every little bit there. Right now, also you should probably look at your AAs here. So Heroes Fortitude and Vitality, these are very important. Same with Resolution, right? These all come from doing quests and achievements and stuff from Call of the Forsaken forward. So make sure you go do those. You make sure you have the Trials of Mata Mora. Have that done. And you're going to want to go do the Dragons of Norath to finish out that quest line. My character, I believe, is a heroic character. I can't remember. But you're going to want to go back and... No, this one's not a heroic. That's why he doesn't have it. You're going to want to go do the Dragons of North quest line to make sure you have all of that done. So you get that. And then anything else here you see in this these special achievements, you want to make sure you knock all those out. Trophy Collector, well, that's what allows you to get the 6 trophies. You can only, I think, normally have 4. So you want to get that knocked out so you can have all those and stuff like that. So, all right. I don't think I have anything else to say about the warrior right now, but this is the 125 warrior. We will have a 120 or 130 video when we get 130 and we max out AAs. But definitely, any questions, just drop them in the comments down below. If you have any suggestions on what I'm doing wrong, I feel like I'm not having any issues at all. I'm able to tank all content that I've attempted to tank. I've had 0 issue doing anything with this character. It has been an absolute blast. And what are we at? Like 700,000 hit points, I would say. Like, we have some buffs on right now that are artificially increasing our hit points, but I would say about 700,000 hit points, 12,000 AC is where I'm at in all this stuff. Whatnot. Make sure you have a power source. You want to get that because I guess I didn't cover this, but you're going to want to get these extra planar augs and put it in your main slots to increase your stuff here, right? Like your all your things. It's just nice. All right, so that's it. I'm out of ideas, But if you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. Thank you very much, and please have a fantastic day.